Let us have a look at timer, because timer always makes interesting programs for children also. Timer is a hidden component. Canvas is there. You know, I have drag dropped it from drawing and animation. A ball sprite is there. A label is there by name stat, start stop button, and a timer. Timer component is here. It is not visible. If I select timer, I have set it to 2000 milliseconds, that is 2 seconds. Timer always fires is off. Timer enabled is not checked. So timer will not start in the beginning. It will only start when I click on the start button. It will stop when I click on the stop button. Let us see how this code is working. Well, I go to the coding part. Design part is done. See what is happening. When I click on a start button, three things are happening. First of all, beach balls, I am moving the beach ball to coordinates 10 and 10. This is an action block. You see, it is an action block. It has come from beach ball and somewhere here. You can find and drag drop. First of all, I am putting the ball on the coordinates 10 by 10, somewhere 10 by 10 on this canvas. Then I am enabling the timer. How? Property block. Timer enabled set to true. Did you see true? True is coming from logic. True, false are there. This is coming from logic category. Background color is just a decoration. I am setting the background color to green color. It is colors category. All the colors are visible here. So when I click on the start button, ball will move to 10:10. Timer will start. Remember, timer was not started in the beginning in the design mode. Timer will start here and background color will change to green. Now what the timer will do, whatever timer will do every 2 seconds, remember 2 seconds was the duration, every 2 seconds timer event will generate. So I am handling timer event of timer control. I have this timer here. You will find the timer control here, timer event block here, and you can use it. How it is being used? I am moving the beach ball randomly. You see random integer coming from math on the canvas randomly between coordinate position 1 to the width of the canvas, 1 to the height of the canvas. Canvas is this. So canvas height and width properties are taken. That is maximum possibility, the boundary, and 1, the least coordinate possible. And then I am showing the coordinates of the beach ball on the label stat. Coordinate x of beach ball and coordinate y of beach ball are joined with colon and set as the text of label stat. So the coordinates, as the ball will move, the coordinates will also be displayed in a label. So let us see if it is really working like this. Start stop timer demo 2. So start stop timer, I am clicking on it. Ball is not moving, that means the timer is off. I click on start. Ball is moving randomly on random coordinates within the width and height of the canvas, and the coordinates are being displayed on a label. How this is happening now you can figure out. As start clicked, things started rolling. Stop is simply stopping the timer, nothing special. start, stop. So let's see how stop is working. Well, coding. Back to coding. Where is my stop button? Here it is. In stop button, we are doing the garbage removal thing. Stop button click. Timer enabled property set it to false. Timer is stopped. Label has got the text stopped. Background color back to red of the label. Label's background color is back to red. So stop is fairly simple. Binding up the things. Now here something is happening if the beach ball is touched. Touched means user is playing it in the app, beach ball is moving, and if the user is able to touch it. So timer will stop and the label color will turn to yellow. This functionality is also there. If that moving ball user is able to touch it, label will be yellow, timer will stop. So I'm not going to waste time in that testing it out. You should trust me on that now. So let's see other demos. This is demo 4. So if I click on the orange ball, I gain the score, red ball, I lose the score. I click on start. Here balls are moving very smoothly. They are not moving with a jerk like it was happening earlier. They seem like rolling on the floor. And timer, there is a timer, time is running away. I have very few seconds left and I have touched the orange ball, which seems to be difficult. Oh, one score, score 2, 3, 4. It's easier with practice. You can give this to the small kids to practice mouse. And when the timer is gone, everything stops. My score is 7. So you saw the flow of the program. I see some mic is on. Please check your mic and please mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So this is how it is happening. On start, these balls are rolling out. So that means some manipulation of the ball's position is being done and they are rolling very smoothly. And some timer is also going out. That means some timer was also started. Timer had a limit of 30 seconds. So when timer is running out, stopping. Let us see how all this is happening. Some score was happening, so obviously I have a score variable taken from variables category. A game time is also there, which is set to 30. The moment start button is clicked, so many things are happening. See, don't be intimidated. A lot of things are there, but they are fairly simple. We are just manipulating the properties of the red ball and red ball foul and red ball OK. Red ball foul and red ball OK are the names of the balls here. This red ball is red ball foul. This red ball is red ball OK. Orange ball is red ball OK. It will give you the score. So what is happening when the button is clicked? Game time is set to 30. Score is 0. Start button is disabled. Red ball OK is enabled. Red ball foul is enabled. Red ball OK interval. See, so many properties are there which I did not tell you earlier. Every sprite has these properties. Interval, how long it will take to move. Speed, how fast it will move. Will it be visible? Heading, in which direction it will move. You can change the heading 360 degree. You can give a degree, 90 degree, it will turn somewhere. So these properties are being manipulated. Interval 100, it will take 100 time 100 to move. It will move with a speed of 15 kilometers per hour, let us say. Let's say 15 by the speed. It will be heading randomly from 0 degree to 360 degree. Randomly in any direction it will be heading. Similarly, red ball foul. Interval 100, speed 15, randomly in any direction. Both balls are moving randomly in any direction with a speed 15 and time taken 100. And when all the things are set, the game timer is enabled. The moment timer is set to true, its timer event will generate. Timer event is coming here. In timer event, what we are doing, nothing is special. Game timer value. This is the label. Game timer value. This label, this small label, it 30, 29, 28, it is game timer label. Game timer label, the text will be set to the variable's value game time. Remember, game time is 30. So 30 will be displayed in this label. And it will be immediately decreased by 1. 30 is 29, 29 to 28 and so on. Score label is showing the score, which is 0 at the moment. So this will keep going on. How long? We will check if game time is equal to -1. Game time is gone beyond 0. So all the 30 seconds are lost. What will happen? The red ball, okay, red ball, foul, start button, red ball, okay, and foul, they will be disabled. The start button will be enabled. Both the balls will move into their places, some coordinates, and game timer will be stopped. Otherwise, what will happen? These balls will remain visible. Now, if I'm touching the red ball, okay, my score will increase by 1. If I'm touching the red ball foul, my score will decrease by 1. And in the score label, I'm displaying the score in the text property of score label. If the balls are touching the edge, there is an event generated edge reach. If the So if the ball is hitting the edge, the balls will be bounced back. Bounce action is available with every ball. So they will bounce from the edge. Get edge will get you the edge of the canvas, and how the things are. This is how the things are, keeping the balls within the limit of the canvas. So you see, what you need to know is where you are going to do what and which particular block you need. This is a quick introduction of MIT App Developer. How the layout has to be set, tabular or in a flow. In layout, what all component you will put, what will be the initial properties of those components. You go to the block, you should know which event you have to handle, number one. Whenever you are planning the app, first of all, you list what events you are going to handle and in which sequence. Note them down on the notebook. Then you note down in which event, which action blocks you need. And using those action blocks, which property blocks you are going to pick up to manipulate the property. If you are able to connect that flow, you will be able to create an app in MIT App Inventor. When the projects are made, you can save the project here. You can build the project. You remember APK files. You can go to build and you can say this app APK file. When you click on it, it will ask you where to save the APK file. It will, and this way the APK file will be saved. Like I saved the APK files here, and then you can run them in Nox Player like this. Well, here we come to the end of this session. So thank you once again, all of you, and I take your leave. Good night. Bye bye.